Hey, this is Mark Gunn of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, and we have some St. Patrick's Day shows today on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast show number 700. Welcome to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, helping you celebrate Celtic culture through music. I am Mark Gunn. I am a Celtic musician and host of Folk Songs and Stories. This podcast is for fans of Celtic music. We are here to build a diverse Celtic community and help the incredible artists who so generously share their music with you. If you hear music you love, please email the artists. Let them know you heard them on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. Musicians depend on your generosity to release new music, so please find a way to support them. Buy a CD, album pen, shirt, digital download, or join their community on Patreon. You can find a link to all the artists in the show notes, along with show times when you visit our website at CelticMusicPodcast.com. And if you don't know what an album pen is, well, let me tell you. An album pen is a lapel pen. It is themed to a particular album by a band, musician, whoever. But you get a digital download of the album, and then you can wear your album on your shirt or your hat or your jacket. It's a great way to support artists, and for those of us who don't use CDs anymore. I stopped accepting CDs for the podcast many years ago, probably over a decade ago now, because I was like, I don't see the point. I don't use CDs anymore. I actually have started to a little bit more these days, but nevertheless, I don't really want CDs from musicians because I want them to, it's not necessary for this format. So if you want to find out more about it, head on over to the website at CelticMusicPodcast.com. I have a little what is an album pen tutorial on how to get that started. Especially if you're a musician, you should definitely check this idea out. Email follow at bestcelticmusic.net to learn how to subscribe to this podcast, and you will get a free music-only episode. If you're a Celtic musician and want your music featured on the show, please submit your band to be played on the podcast. You don't have to send in music or an EPK, and you will get a free ebook called Celtic Musician's Guide to Digital Music. Again, it's 100% free. Just email follow at bestcelticmusic.net. St. Patrick's Day is 11 days away, and I decided that this episode was going to be highlighting St. Patrick's Day shows in 2025. I asked people on Patreon and my socials to tell me what kind of bands were performing St. Patrick's Day shows in your neck of the woods. I will tell you more about that in a little bit. In the meantime, we kicked off the show with Kinnfolk. That was from their brand new album. It was just released last week. The album is called Star Above the Mountain. That was the Triple Crown set. And next up is Golden Bough with the Homecoming and the Gael from Westering Home.
'Twas on a fine March morning I bid New Orleans adieu, and I took the road to Jacksontown, me fortunes to renew. I cursed off foreign money, no credit could I gain, and it filled me hard with a longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board of a railroad car beneath the morning sun, and I rode the roads till evening, then laid me down again. All strangers here, no friends to me, till a dark girl towards me came, and I fell in love with a Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I said, me pretty Creole girl, me money here's no good, and if it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the wood. You're welcome here, kind stranger, our house it is very plain, and we never turn a stranger out from the banks of Pontchartrain. And treated me right well. The hair upon her shoulders in jet black ringlets fell, to try and paint her beauty I'm sure 'twould be in vain. So handsome was my Creole girl from the lakes of Pontchartrain. She said this could never be, for she has got a lover and he was far at sea. She swore that she'd be true to him, and true she would remain, till he returned to his Creole girl by the banks of Pontchartrain. So fare thee well to my Creole girl, whom I never shall see no more, but I'll never forget your kind in a cottage by the shore, and at each social gathering a flowing glass I will raise, and I'll drink a health to my Creole girl from the lakes of Pontchartrain.
setting in the west. The birds were singing on every tree. All nature seemed inclined for the rest, but still there was no rest for me. Farewell to Nova Scotia, you sea-bound coast. Let your mountains dark and drear I be, for when I'm far away on that briny ocean top, will you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? I grieve to leave my native land. I grieve to leave my comrades all, and my parents whom I hold so dear, and the bonny, bonny lassie that I do adore. Farewell to Nova Scotia, you sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and drear I be, for when I'm far away on that briny ocean tossed, will you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Their arms are folded upon their breast, but a poor simple sailor just like me must be tossed and driven o'er the dark blue sea. Farewell to Nova Scotia, you sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and drear I be, for when I'm far away on that mighty ocean tossed, will you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Oh, farewell to Nova Scotia, you sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and drear I be, for when I'm far away on that briny ocean tossed, will you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Will you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Thank you very much. Farewell to Nova Scotia.
After Golden Bough came Clover's Revenge with the Lakes of Pontchartrain from Truants and Absolution. Then Celtic Wood and Wires with Tripping Up the Stairs and Smash the Window from Into the Music. And finally Madman's Window with Farewell to Nova Scotia from their album All Guns Blazing Live. I want your feedback. What are you doing today while listening to the podcast? You can send a written comment along with a picture of what you're doing. Is there a new CD or a Celtic band that you heard of or saw? Send a picture. Or just drop me an email. Follow at bestcelticmusic.net. Andrew Pratt emailed, I would say that Coast, the Scottish band, opened me up to the wealth of talent and variety of Scottish music. When I first heard them on your podcast, I was hooked. Now I listen to music from Scotland almost as much as Irish music. Thank you for playing such a wide range of music, and congratulations on your 700th episode. Thank you, Andrew, so much. And yes, I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show. Yes, this is show number 700. It's amazing. We started this show in July 2005, and it's been going for almost 20 years, and we are now at episode number 700, and I appreciate all your support for the many years you've been following this podcast. Thank you, Andrew. Richard Davis emailed, hello, I'm the assistant manager to the Old Blind Dog Irish Pub in Milton, Georgia, and I was wondering if you could give us a shout out on your podcast about our upcoming St. Patrick's Day festivities. We're celebrating it from March 14th through 17th with live music from bands such as Celtic Kudzu and Process of Elimination. We'll have raffles, giveaways, a beer truck, and food both inside and outside the restaurant. Thanks. You are very welcome, Richard. Thank you so much for emailing me. I was actually inspired this episode. Thank you for that, Richard. Because I was like, well, what other Celtic bands are performing? So I decided to do a little quick poll again on socials, and I came up with a variety of shows. And I decided to pick one per band, and I ended up playing a lot of the bands that are on this episode. Those are the ones that people called out and said, hey, you should check out this show. Here's another show. And so I went down the list. I didn't get everyone. Several of them I do not have permission to play their music, but most I do. So Without further ado, St. Patrick's Day shows in 2025. Celtic Conundrum is at Shamrock and Fest in Leesburg, Florida. Oh, I should also point out that there are several shows by each of these bands during St. Patrick's Day week and such. So go to their website and find out more about the bands and where they're performing if you want to check it out. Clover's Revenge is at the Celtic Ray in Punta Gorda, Florida. The Muckers are at the Hangout in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Kinfolk are at the Star Theater in Stewart, Virginia. Stout Pounders are at Apex Everett Kings Hall in Everett, Washington. Tami Curtis and Cavort and Stark Raving Plaid are at Sean O'Donnell's Irish Pub in Spokane, Washington. Plunk Murray and River Driver are at Legacy Hall in Plano, Texas. Irish Tweeds are at Buffalo Irish Center in Buffalo, New York. Irishtown Road are at Bay City Restaurant Banquet Hall in Hanover, Pennsylvania. Celtic Wood and Wires are at the Bullfrog Brewery in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Golden Bow are the Dublin Irish Festival in Dublin, California, not to be confused with the one, I think there's one in Iowa or something. But Sheridan Rúitín are at Tin Cannon Brewing Company in Gainesville, Virginia. O'Craven are at Toots Tavern in Crockett, Georgia. Marianne Ford are at 1836 Saloon Bar and Grill in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Madman's Window are at Ganaraska Brewing Company in Port Hope, Ontario. Hooligan Jack are at Burlington Company in New Jersey. Fawny Rig are at Red Clay Music Foundry in Duluth, Georgia. Sluggers Roll and Plunk Murray are at Gillespie's Tavern in Richardson, Texas. Belfast Gin are at Fiddler's Hearth in South Bend, Indiana. Kylene and Paul Byron are at the Academy in Hapeville, Georgia. And Thrifty Malone are at Heaven Irish Bar in Ronda, Spain. And I guess I should point out that I have two shows that are going to be, one is on the 16th and 17th. Both are at the Wings Cafe in Marietta, Georgia, if you want to come see me perform. And you can also see me perform on my birthday, because my birthday is March 17th. So, yes, I was destined to be a Celtic music podcaster and play Celtic music. Being born on St. Patrick's Day. All right, let's get back to the music. Next up is Sheridan Rúitín with Finnegan's Wake from Rebels in the Night.
Tim Finnegan lived on Walking Street, a gentle Irishman, mighty odd. He had a tongue of both rich and sweet, and a rise in the world he carried a hod. Tim had a sort of a tippling way, with the love of the liquor, oh, he was born. To send him on his way each day, he'd drop with a crither every morn. Whack on the door, now dance to your partner, well before you're trying to shake. Wasn't it the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. One morning Tim was rather full, his head felt heavy which made him shake. He fell from the ladder, he broke his skull, they carried him home, his corpse to leg. They rolled him up in a nice clean sheet and laid him out upon the bed, with a gallon of whiskey at his feet and a barrel of porter at his head. Whack on the door, now dance to your partner, well before you're trying to shake. Wasn't it the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. His friends assembled at the wake and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. First they brought him tea and cake, then pipes, tobacco and whiskey punch. Minnie O'Brien began to cry.
Such a lovely corpse, did you ever see? Tim the born, and why did you die?
Ah, shut your gob, said Eddie McGee. Whack on the door, now dance to your partner, well before you're trying to shake. Wasn't it the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Then Maggie O'Connor took up the job. Oh, Billy, she says you're wrong, I'm sure. Biddy gave her a belt to the gob and left her sprawling on the floor. Civil War then engaged, was a woman to woman and a man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and a row and a Russian soon began. Whack on the door, now dance to your partner, well before you're trying to shake. Wasn't it the truth, I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. Then Mickey Maloney raised his head when a bottle of whiskey flew at him. He ducked and landed on the bed, the liquor scattered over Tim. Tim revives, see how he rises. Timothy rising from the dead. Boil your whiskey round like blazes, thunder and Jesus, you think I'm dead. Whack on the door, now dance to your partner, well before you're trying to shake. Finnegan's way.
Kindness return this day.
Sweet Maggie, tomorrow I'll sail for to kindle our fortune aflame. With wood short and larders soon bare, I'll set sail for America. Spring in Galway Bay, Maggie waved her true love farewell. The bark bore her hope and her heart away on the sea's great swell. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, come back home to me. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, far across the sea. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, come back home to me. You're far reassured her, it shall not be long that I stay. Short-lived will your heartache flare, I'll return from America. Tell the hearth, Maggie, my dear, our treasure is closer at hand. I venture west now for 1 year, you're far away from me, Jeremiah, come back home to me. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, far across the sea. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, come back home to me. You're far away from me, Jeremiah, far across the sea. Quinye Artine Lassa, Quinye Artine Lassa, Quinye Artine Lassa.
Y'all ready? Well, my name is John O'Reilly, and my father worked the fields in the hills of Old Killarney, where I helped him turn the wheels. My arm too hard as iron for a boy of 17, and I used my fist for gambling in those wet Killarney streets. But a ship left for America, and I took my pack aboard, said goodbye to my dear Ireland, said a prayer to my dear Lord. Fought those sorry guineas in the kitchen they call hell, fought them for their dollar, and those guineas paid me well. Fare thee well, fair Dover, fare thee well, my season's turn, my pockets will be jingling on the day of my return, day of my return. Jersey Shore, my gut stayed full of whiskey and my bed stayed full of girls. Called my right a cannonball, my left they called the same, and I left them all a lying half in blood and half in shame. But I met a man on 32 and he stuck out his hand. He offered me 1,000 if I'd fall before his man. Said it could be done but only for another two. He smiled at me and nodded as I stuck it in my shoe. Will be jingling on the day of my return, day of my return. They rang the bell 2 times before I let him have my nose. I let him work my left until my eye was swollen closed. I let loose the right that they still talk about today, for that guinea didn't know that I had been the other way. They colored every dock and every port there on the coast, looking for that double crosser who I turned into a ghost. I was on a train, my friend, that rolled the other way, and I'll sail from California back to Dublin one fine day. Fare thee well, fair Dover, fare thee well, my season's turn, my pockets will be jingling on the day of my return, day of my return. Fare thee well, fair Dover, fare thee well, my season's turn, my pockets will be jingling on the day of my return, day of my return.
Hi Mark, it's Jeremy from Pachin here, wishing you on behalf of the whole band a very happy 700th episode, and here's to 700 more. Sláinte.
After Sheridan Rúitín came Celtic Conundrum with Cú She from Lore, then Tammy Curtis with Keep Our Fire Burning from Cavort, and we finished up the set with River Driver John O'Reilly from Flanagan's Shenanigans live at the Celt. Thank you, patrons of the podcast and leprechauns of good taste. Have I told you lately that you're absolutely legendary? You are the heartbeat of this podcast, the reason I spend my days swimming in Celtic tunes instead of, I don't know, training for a competitive Guinness drinking contest, which I'd obviously win. It's all thanks to you. Your support isn't just appreciated, it's the very thing that keeps this show from running on sheer luck and leftover whiskey fumes. You fund our genius sound engineer who makes me sound like I actually know what I'm doing, the wizardly graphic designer, the tirelessly dedicated Celtic Music Magazine editor, and the promotion magic that spreads this music farther than a wandering Irish storyteller. Your generosity buys the music you love and gives me the time to carefully craft each episode rather than just chucking in a 10-whistle solo and hoping for the best. And as a patron, you're not just supporting the show, you're practically knighted by the Celtic music gods themselves. You get exclusive ad-free music-only episodes before anyone else because you're fancy like that. You help shape the Celtic Top 20 with your votes. You unlock free music downloads, sheet music, and your very own private feed to listen your way, whether you're through Patreon or your favorite podcast app. All this for just $3 a month. That's right. Less than the cost of one fancy coffee, or roughly 0.0003% the cost of a pint in Dublin on St. Patrick's Day. And yet, that tiny sum keeps the music alive, keeps the community thriving, and keeps you at the very heart of it all. So join us today. Let's keep this music going, or at least until we get all distracted by a parade and a questionable amount of Irish whiskey. Sign up now, and may the luck of the Irish and the best Celtic tunes always be with you. Special thanks to our Celtic legends, Rick Boyce, Bruce, Daniel Ide, Brian McReynolds, Marty Myers, Alan Schindler, Karen Harris, Margreta Silverstone, Emma Bartholomew, Dan McDade, Gerald F. Boyle, Miranda Nelson, Nancy Barnett, Kevin Long, Gary R. Hook, Linda McNeil, John Sharkey White II, Kelly Garrett, Mike Schock, Annie Lorkowski, and Sean Callie. Here is your 3-step plan to support the podcast. Number 1, go to our Patreon page. Number 2, decide how much you want to pledge every month. $5, $25, $3,000. And number 3, keep listening to the Irish Celtic Music Podcast to celebrate Celtic culture through music. You can become a generous patron of the podcast on Patreon at songhinge.com. You can also still join me on a Celtic invasion of Wexford, Ireland. Head on over to CelticInvasion.com. It's happening this summer at the end of June. I would love to see you in Ireland with me, drinking a pint, having fun. Let's get back to the music. Next up, Plunk Murray. This is Rocky Road to Dublin. It's from their album Another Drink.
Started, left the girls a doom, nearly broken hearted, salute the father dear. Kiss me darling mother, drank the pint of beer, me grief and tears to smother, then off to reap the corn, leave where I was born, cut the stamp like on the banished coast, and Dublin's a brand new pair of roads, rattling all the bogs, frightened all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lolly-yah. Last night I rested limbs so weary, started by daylight next morning bright and early, took a drop of the beer to keep me heart from sinking. Now that's the baddest cure whenever he's on the drinking. To see the lassie smile, laughing all the while at the curious mouth would set your heart a bubbling. They asked me was I hired, wages I required, I was always tired on that rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lolly-yah. Dublin next arrived, I thought it such a pity to be so soon deprived of view of that fine city. Decided to take a stroll all along the quality bundle. It was stole in the neat locality. Something crossed my mind as I looked behind. No bundle could I find upon me stick a wobbling, inquiring after a road. Said me conic road, was it much in vogue on the rocky road to Dublin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lolly-yah. There I got away, my spirits never failing, landed on the quay just as the ship was sailing. Captain at me roared, said no room had he, and then I jumped aboard a cabin bound for Paddy, and down among the pigs did some hardy rigs, played some hardy jigs, the water round me bubbling, and off to Holyhead, wish that I were dead, better off instead on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lolly-yah. skies of Liverpool. When we safely landed, called myself a fool. I could no longer spend, my blood began to boil. Temper I was losing, poor old Irishtown. They began abusing. Hurrah, me soul, says I, let me shillelagh fight. Galway boys are by, and saw I was a hobbling with a loud hooray. Join me in the fray, soon we cleared the way on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hump a hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. What falalia? Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. What falalia?
Well, I seen a million things, heard all about that brass ring, all with a pint glass in my hand. And I seen a million faces in some going nowhere places, all with a pint glass in my hand.
I need you to put your hands together right here. Actually, this is how we do it. Clap.
This is how we do it.
We're gonna set it right here. It's a classic right there, folks. I mean the clap. The joke sucks, but the clap is a classic. Yeah. Here we go. Little faster. Here we go. Downstairs round his lady, one sang high and the other sing low, and the other sang about
After Plunk Murray came O'Craven with Pint Glass from Whiskey, Wenches, and Scallywag. Then Raggle Taggle Gypsy by Stout Pounders from Liver Let Live, or Live, Liver Let Live, either one of those two words. And finally, the Muckers with Old Black Rum from their album One More Stout. I hope you had a lot of fun today, and if you did, remember to vote in the Celtic Top 20 for 2025. This is our way of finding the best songs and artists each year. You can vote for as many songs and tunes that inspire you in each episode. Your vote helps me create this year's Best Celtic Music of 2025 episode. You have just 3 weeks to vote this year, so vote now. You can follow our playlist on YouTube to listen to those top voted tracks as they are added every 2 to 3 weeks. All right, we're going to finish up with Irishtown Road. It's from their album On the One Road. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back next week with a 3-hour St. Patrick's Day music special. It's going to be insane, so come join me. I'll talk to you soon. Sláinte.
Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, in that bog there was a hole, a rare hole, a rattling hole, with the hole in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, in that hole there was a tree, a rare tree, a rattling tree, with the tree in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that tree there was a branch, a rare branch, a rattling branch, with the branch in the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that branch there was a limb, a rare limb, a rattling limb, with the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that limb there was a twig, a rare twig, a rattling twig, with the twig and the limb and the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that twig there was a nest, a rare nest, a rattling nest, with the nest and the twig and the twig and the limb and the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, in that nest there was a bird, a rare bird, a rattling bird, with the bird in the nest, in the nest, in the twig, in the twig, in the limb, in the limb, in the branch, in the branch, in the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, in that bird there was an egg, a rare egg, a rattling egg, with the egg and the bird and the bird and the nest and the nest and the twig and the twig and the limb and the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree and the tree and the hole and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, in that egg there was a bird, a rare bird, a rattling bird, with the bird and the egg and the egg and the bird and the bird and the nest and the nest and the twig and the twig and the limb and the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree and the tree and the hole and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that bird there was a feather, a rare feather, a rattling feather, with a feather and the bird and the egg and the egg and the bird and the nest and the nest and the twig and the twig and the limb and the branch and the branch and the tree and the hole and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, ho, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that feather there was a flea, a rare flea, a rattling flea, with a flea and feather, and feather, and a bird, and the egg, and the egg, and a bird, and the nest, and the twig, and the limb, and the branch, and the tree, and the hole, and the bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, rare bog, rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. On that flea there was a louse, a rare louse, a rattling louse, and the louse, and the flea, and the flea, and the feather, and the bird, and the egg, and the bird, and the nest, and the twig, and the limb, and the branch, and the tree, and the hole, and the bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, rare bog, rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. On that louse there was an eye, a rare eye, a rattling eye, with the eye, and the louse, the flea, and the feather, and the bird, and the egg, and the bird, and the nest, and the twig, and the limb, and the branch, and the tree, and the hole, and the bog down in the valley, oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, rare bog, rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. And on that eye there was a parasite, a rare parasite, a rattling parasite. The parasite in the eye, and the louse, and the flea, and the feather, and the bird, and the egg, and the bird, and the nest, and the twig, and the limb, and the branch, and the tree, and the hole, and the bog down in the valley, oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, rare bog, rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, ho, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh, rare bog, rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh.
The Irish and Celtic Music Podcast is produced by Mark Gunn, the Celt Father, and our patrons on Patreon. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Miranda Nelson Designs. Visit our website to follow the show. You'll find a link to all the artists played in this episode. Todd Wiley is the editor of the Celtic Music Magazine. Subscribe to get 34 Celtic MP3s for free. Plus, you'll get 7 weekly news items about what's happening with Celtic music and culture online. Best of all, you will connect with your Celtic heritage. Please tell one friend about this podcast. Word of mouth is the absolute best way to support any creative endeavor. Finally, remember, our planet's future is in our hands. The overwhelming evidence shows that human activity is driving climate change, from record-breaking heat waves to rising sea levels. But the good news, we have the power to fix it. Every choice we make, reducing waste, conserving energy, supporting clean energy, moves us toward a more stable climate. If you're skeptical, ask yourself, what if you're wrong? What if taking action means cleaner air, a stronger economy, and a safer world no matter what? Isn't that worth considering? Start a conversation today. The facts are out there, and the future is ours to shape. Promote Celtic culture through music at CelticMusicPodcast.com.